All right. So today I'm going to inoculate some substrate bags. A little short video. I'm no way an expert on any of this. This has just been a hobby for me over the last few years. So basically, what we're going to do is this is a jar of rye grains. And what I did was I soaked these in water. I just put some grains up to about here and fill the jar up with water and let it soak overnight. And then after they soaked overnight, they expanded. I drained out the excess water and put the lid on and put it in my pressure cooker for 30 minutes at 15 psi. So this is sterile. And what you do is you take your liquid culture, which this is an old one, but you take a syringe and you pull out the mycelium and you inject it into this grain, and eventually it will grow throughout this grain, the mycelium, and you'll end up with a jar that looks like this. And as you can see, it's white and full of mycelium. And this is what you want to put in your substrate bags. Now I do 5-pound substrate bags. That's the Master's Mix blend, which is soy hull, 50% soy hull and 50% oak pellets, which turns into sawdust. I mix that up in a tote, and then I fill up my substrate bags, and then I pressure cook those for about 3.5 hours. So behind me, I got the steel air box because I don't have a laminar flow hood. So this is pretty new. This is my first time using it, actually. So we're going to inoculate some bags with this spawn here. Now this is blue oyster mushrooms, or blue oyster mycelium. So inside my steel air box, I've got a little mister of isopropyl alcohol, which I like to hose down objects that I put in here. I have one outside the bag. Give my arms and hands a spritz. All right. So everything that I've read basically says to try to move as slow as you would underwater without causing a disturbance. I don't know how true that is. I've actually put a HEPA filter in a small bathroom and a half bath, and would use no steel air box and just be very careful. And I've had success over the years doing that. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just breaking this up with a spoon because it is a pretty solid chunk. So while I'm doing this, on my right side, that's your left, I have a impulse sealer inside the steel air box. So I can seal these up inside the steel air box here. So there's not a set amount of spawn to put in a bag, but the faster that it colonizes, the less likely you'll have competition with other bacteria or spores that get in here. Pick this guy, warm him over, and I really need to get a longer impulse sealer. Just mine won't seal in one shot. I gotta kind of, that looks good. I already got one done. Set him out the way. Grab this other bag. Now blue oyster mushrooms they like the cooler weather. And the one thing they don't like is I did not have very good success growing them in the spare bedroom of my house because they want a lot of fresh air. And if you believe it or not, the air in your home it doesn't contain enough oxygen for the mushrooms to there's not enough fresh air exchange, which I thought was really weird because as soon as I moved mine outside, they grew fantastic. This bag out the way. It's one thing that the drawback to the steel air box here. Kind of awkward working through these holes over here. One more time over here. It looks like I got it all sealed up. All right. So let me cover my spawn back up. All right. Now everything's been sealed. Now what we can do is take our bags out and shake them. I'll give you a close up here. So here's the spawn, here's the substrate. So I break the block up and incorporate all that spawn. So what I just do is mash on that, give it a good shake, and then I'll just stick it in a dark place until this entire bag turns white. And then after it turns white, I'll cut some slits in the bag and put it in a fruiting chamber, and I'll get to that in another video. But for now, this is how I inoculate my substrate bags. Happy mushroom farming.